Hey everyone, this is Samarth. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will show all the nodes in Recyclerview in our Note app. So let's get started. So in last video, we were able to create new node and we have implemented the functionality to update the node. But there were two bugs in that. First one is, you remember when I was creating a new node and I was unable to create it on server because I was not logged in. But at that time it did network request. But as here I'm doing that, if the token is null, which means if I am not logged in, then I should return a success message from here that I have saved the node in local database. But it is not stopping at here. So we don't want to do network request if we know that we are not logged in. So for that, remove this return from here and write it here, and let's press Alt Enter. And yeah, it is similar to that. If the token is not null, then it will return a success message, and also we will return these things from here. And if any exception occurs, then we will return this error message from this catch block. And that's what we have to do in update note also. So now if we are not logged in, then we will not do any network request. Now the second problem was, in our new node fragment, the description was single lined. So let's go to resources package, and here in this layout package, we have to go to new node fragment. In this fragment, let's come to description edit text, and here we have to remove this input type which is set to text. I just removed it and it worked. Now our previous bugs are resolved. Let's go ahead with this video. Now to show nodes in Recyclerview, we have to get the nodes from our local database and from server. For that, we have to create two functions. First function is get all nodes. By this function, we will get live nodes from our local database. It will return a flow of nodes, this coroutine flow, and it is a list of local nodes. And the next function is to get all the nodes from server. It is a suspend function which is get all nodes from server. It will not gonna return anything because we will get nodes from server and then we will save it to local database. Now let's get to our node wrap implementation class, and here we have to implement those two functions. Press Ctrl I and select them, and here we have to implement them. Remove this block, and here we have to call node DAO get all nodes ordered by date, and that's all for this function. Yeah, I know it's very small. Now in this function, first of all we need token, and which is session manager dot get JWT token, and if it is null, then we have to return from here. And also if the network is not connected, then we have to return from here. And also in our create node function and in this update node function, we have to implement this network functionality. So let's copy this and paste it here, and here we have to return a error message, no internet connection, and then again copy this and paste it in update node function right below here. And then let's come back to our get all nodes from server function, and here if we are logged in and our network is connected, then we have to do network request node API dot get all nodes, and here we have to pass the token which is bearer and then token, and this function will gonna return us list of remote nodes. So we have to convert them to local node and then we have to save them in our local database. So let's call result dot for each, and it is giving us single remote node, so name it remote node. And here we have to save the node in database which is node DAO dot insert node, and here we have to save local node. So let's create a local node, and node title is this remote node dot node title, and then connected variable is true because as we are getting nodes from server, so it is obvious that we are connected to server. Then the node ID will be this node ID, that is remote node dot node ID. Sorry, it's simply ID. Also wrap it in try catch block. Now to show nodes in a recycler view, we need to create recycler view adapter. So in this UI package, let's create one more package named adapter. And in this adapters package, we have to create a class named node adapter. It is best practice to create different packages for everything. And in this class, we have to create view holder for our adapter. So let's create a class named node view holder, and it will have a parameter which is binding, and it is of type item not binding, and it is extended from recycler view dot view holder. And here we have to pass this binding dot root. Now extend this node adapter class from recyclerview dot adapter. Here we have to pass this node view holder. Now we have to implement some functions which are from adapter class. So press Ctrl I and then select these functions, and then let's implement them. First one is on create view holder. Here we have to return the node view holder. So let's return this node view holder, and it will have item not binding. So let's create item not binding dot inflate, and here we have to pass layout inflator. So let's go layout inflator dot from parent dot context, and then we have to pass parent, and then this attached to parent is false. That's all for this function. Now we need list of nodes. So for that we will create a diffutil, and it is an object of type diffutil dot item callback, and it is of type local node. And here we have to implement two functions. So here we have to return if the node id of old item is equals to node id of a new item, and in this our content same, we have to return old item is equals to new item. Now why we are creating this diffutil, we can simply create a list of nodes, but the thing is we are getting live data from our local database, like we are getting flow of nodes. So whenever we update our local database, then it will make some changes, but if this diffutil is not present, then we have to update the complete recycler view, and it will be a very costly operation. So rather than updating complete recycler view, it will just update a single item which is updated. So now next thing is we have to create differ, which is of type async list differ, and open this parentheses, and here we have to pass this reference, and then we have to pass this diffutil. Now the next thing is we have to create list of nodes. So the list is where nodes is of type list, and it is local node, and here we have to set the getter. It will be equals to differ dot current list, and then we have to set the setter, and here we have to submit this list, which is this value. Let's come back to our get item count function, and here we have to return the size of that nodes, and that's all for this function. Now let's come to our main function, which is this on bind view holder. And here first of all we need the current node. So the node is equal to nodes, and here we have to get the node from this position, which we are getting from here. Basically it will bind each node with the actual items of recycler view. So after that holder dot binding, which binding we have created here in this recycler view, and then we have to call apply function. Now here the title will be visible if the title of the node is not null, then so called node text dot is visible is equals to node dot node title is not equals to null. Similarly for description, node description dot visible is equals to node dot description is not equals to null. We have to call node dot node title, and then call this let block, and if the node title is not null, then we have to set this title text is equals to it, because here we are getting this node title in this let block. And similarly for description, and then if the node is connected to server, then we have to show green light, and if the node is not connected to server, then we have to show red light there. So for that I have something that is node sync it is a view, and here we have to set the background resource, and which is if the node is connected, then we have to set r dot drawable, import this r, and here we have to set it to sync, and else we have to set it to r dot drawable dot not sync. Here you can see this is green light and this is a red light. It is simply a view. Now whenever we will click on that node, we will go to new node fragment and we have to view that node. So for that we have to handle the click on that node item. For that we have to create one variable which is here above this get item count. Let's create a variable that is on item click listener, and it is a higher order, or we can say lambda function, and here we need a parameter which is of type local node, and it will return nothing, so call unit, and it is a nullable, so let's make it equals to null. And then we have to create a function that set on item click listener. Here in parameters we need function which is listener, which will accept local node, which is a function and having a parameter of local node, and will return nothing, so called unit. And then we have to assign this to on item click listener is equals to this listener. It is giving us some kind of error, so make it private, and then the error is gone. And then let's come back to this on bind view holder function, and here we have to set root dot on click listener, and here we have to set on item click listener, and make a null call, and then invoke this function, and here we have to pass this node. And that's all for this node adapter. Let's go to our all nodes fragment, and here we have to attach this adapter to our UI. So for that, let's create a private latent variable node adapter of type node adapter, and one more variable which is private node view model of type node view model, and initialize it by activity view model, and then make this all nodes fragment Android entry point. Now we have to set up this adapter, so for that let's create a private function setup Recyclerview, and here we need to initialize this node adapter variable, so node adapter is equals to this node adapter, and then we have to call binding dot Recyclerview, and then we have to call apply, and here we have to set adapter is equals to this node adapter, and then the layout manager is equals to, we can assign any layout. There are different layouts like linear layout, grid layout, staggered layout. I will go with staggered layout, so staggered grid layout manager, and here we have to use the second function, so we have to pass span count, which is 2 in my case because I want 2 columns there, and the orientation is vertical, so staggered grid manager dot vertical. And also we have to set up on click listener to the items of this adapter, so node adapter dot set on click listener, and when the user clicks on that node item, then we have to go to new node fragment and having a node as an argument in that. So let's create a action which is equals to all nodes fragment directions dot action all nodes fragment to new node fragment, and here we have to pass this node which is it in our case because we are returning, because we are giving a node here, and then we have to call find nav controller dot navigate, and then we have to pass this action here. By this we will navigate to new node fragment, and there we have already implemented the functionality to view this node and update this node in last video. Now let's create one more function, and which is private function subscribe to nodes, and here we have to call node view model. So first of all we have to go to this node view model, and here we have to create a variable which is nodes, and it is equals to node repo dot get all nodes, and then come back to our all nodes fragment, and here we have to call node view model dot nodes, and then we have to call collect, and here we have to collect this, and it is giving us error because it is a asynchronous operation, so call in lifecycle scope, and .launch, and then it is giving us a list of nodes, and we have to assign this list to node adapter. So node adapter dot nodes is equals to this list. Now just call these two functions in this onView created function, set up Recyclerview and subscribe to nodes. Now let's run our app and let's see what is going on. And our build is successful, and here we can see our nodes are present. And also I just remembered that we have made a function to get all the nodes from server, but we haven't called it anywhere yet. So open this node repo implementation class, and in this login function, when the result is successful, then we have to first update the session, and then we have to call this function, that is get all the nodes from server, which means that whenever we will log into any account, then we know that we have a account and we want to get all the nodes of that account only that single time, because after that we will save that nodes to the local database, and then we will get the nodes from that local database to our UI. So let's run this app again and let's see if it is completely working or not. Let's create one more node and then press the back button, and here you can see our node is created. It is not connected to server, so that's why it is showing red light here. And let's see if we are logged in or not. We are not logged in, so that's why it is not showing us we are connected. Now I am logged in, so let's come back, and here you can see some more nodes are added here because I am logged into my previous account, and this app has fetched some nodes from that account and save it to my local database. And now click on this node and we are able to navigate to this new node fragment, and here the nodes are present. And let's edit these nodes, press the back button, and here you can see it is updated. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, then please press the like button, and if you have any doubt, then please write in the comment section. And thank you for watching it. Have a nice day.